Today we're talking with SugarHill Steward, hot off the press from him training Tyson Fury for his unbelievably exciting trilogy with Deontay Wilder, one of the greatest heavyweight fights ever. We're excited to see what SugarHill has to say of this amazing victory. Let's get into it.
There he is.
Let's ask. Well,
We could ask him. I mean, you know he's going to answer because his uncle trained Lennox. But Lewis or Riddick Bowe in their prime? What do you think?
I have to go with Lennox, but I have to think about it a little further, to be honest. Right now, I'm gonna go with Lennox because that's who I know and I've been around and I've learned. Excuse me, I learned a lot from him too. So yeah, I'll just say Lennox. But yeah, just a quick answer.
I think so.
So let me be the first to congratulate you, man. It was a great show you had the other night, man. Very exciting. I bet on both sides.
Thank you. Yeah.
And side note, I picked the round and the fighter.
So you set for life then?
Yeah, well, dude, I'm more Jewish than you think, bro. I only bet.
Yeah, let me be the second to congratulate you, man. I mean, I saw it coming too. I think, you know, he pretty much did more of the same. The only difference was the fourth round, obviously, which, in my opinion, I feel like Fury got a little, you know, comfortable because he'd already dropped him, and that's why that happened. But how'd you feel, man? Like at the end of how'd you feel during? Was it that much of an up and down for you, or you kind of you knew what was going on the whole time? You were comfortable.
I mean, for me, I'm not comfortable until it's over. You know, you're in there with Deontay Wilder, any heavyweight, but being Deontay Wilder as well. So you always have to, you know, you always have to stay careful, and you always have to, you know, try to protect yourself and be cautious because, yeah, at any time, like the fourth round, Tyson got caught with a straight right hand down the middle, and yeah, his legs got wobbly, and he got knocked down and everything. So, not knocked down twice that round. So, yeah, always be careful. So, yeah, I'm not satisfied until it's over. I mean, for me, going to the scorecards and 11th round, all that stuff, that means nothing to me. I don't care. I don't want to hit the scorecards. They can tear them up, throw them in the trash, and post them on the news or whatever they want to do, but it don't mean nothing.
I loved they cut at one round. I forget which round it was, and all I heard was you being like, "Jab this motherfucker to death, just jab his ass," and that was great.
That wasn't me. So somebody's got a Twitter account with my name on it. Yeah, so they posted something. Somebody told me they posted something like SugarHill's view, what he posted during the fight, something like that. But it's like up in the stands. I'm like, why would I be in the stands if I'm in the corner? So when people say now, they say I was cussing in the corner and getting excited, and I just tell them like it wasn't me because I was up in the stands somewhere. So I don't have to claim that I was I don't have to claim all that vulgar language and loud talking recklessly and stuff. So yeah. I got an alibi.
How does it make you feel? You know, how are you feeling when Tyson got dropped?
I mean, I saw him. It was right near us, so I saw him, and I was just like, I'm watching him, and he was conscious and everything. So if he's conscious, like he said, if you ain't knocking him out, you ain't beating him.
Yeah.
So you weren't really worried because you saw. I mean, I saw it too. He shit was together.
Yeah, but I'm just saying. So like, then what was your reaction to him dropping Dante the first time?
Let's go home. Finish it. I want to get it done. I want it to be over with. You know.
Yeah, of course.
This is not the man that you mess around with. Is Deontay Wilder. You don't mess around with him and leave him, you know, to be able to punch you. And, you know, the fourth round, he punched him, and then, yeah, one of those big bomb squad right hands. And, yeah, the fight, everything just changed, and the crowd was just going crazy. And, you know, for me, it was like, okay, just get up. He got up. He was okay. You know, he started fighting back, and he went down again. And he was fighting at that time. You know, he went down again from another shot. You know, I'm happy it wasn't even a real punch. So yeah, but it was a punch, you know, whatever. Yeah, I'm happy it wasn't a more real punch than that. And then after that, you know, the bell stopped the round, and I have to look at it, and I look at it. You know, there was a chance in the third round where Tyson could have finished Deontay Wilder, I believe, as well, and the bell saved him. So now this was, you know, the same situation where the bell, you know, stopped that round, and you know, the fight was able to continue to 5th round to the 11th round. Yeah,
I will say that the referee, he did it he did it for Wilder and for Tyson. He gave him, I mean, tell me if I'm wrong here, he gave him a lot of extra time. You know, look at me, and he took a while to let him get back to it. Did you see that too?
Y'all watching this from TV. I want it to be over. So I'm not looking at the time, the clock, and all that. I'm like, okay, I'm not like listening to all that stuff. I'm just watching the referees action. And the referees do that. They you saying like
Can't hear you. Oh, you're back. You're back.
Oh, so the referee's job is to protect the fighters as well. You know, make sure everything. They're not gonna let a fighter continue if he ain't ready. So if the referee wants to check on these fighters to make sure they're okay, then that should be fine. It's for the fighter's safety, and a lot of people forget that. It's for the fighter's safety.
I think that people think that a 10 count is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. A 10 count is 10. What are you doing? 1.
Some people might think it's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's 10.
A 10 is to really give you a moment to gather your stuff. If you're able to continue, cool. If you're not, then we can wipe this out. But a 10 is like 1. All right, let's get up, buddy. 2, 3. You know what I mean? The thing between the numbers are the words of the referee. Not everyone, not every number, but between them, they're like, you know, the referee is talking to you because he wants to see what because you know he said you ready to get up, and you say the cow jumped over the moon, fight's over.
Yeah.
Right? So if you say, hey, you got this, buddy, and the referee says you got this, which is stuff they say, you know, you ready, and then you jump up and go, yeah, I'm good, and you pop, you know, and you roll up. He knows that you're kind of there.
Yeah, the referee said he gives you an instruction. In the locker room, they go through the instructions. If you get knocked down, I'm asking you to put your hands up. Show me, you know, show me this. Show me that you're ready to continue. I mean, as simple as that. So the referee's job is to see that the fighter is ready to continue, and then let the match continue. And he did it for both of them. He asked both of them, put your hands up, like show me something.
Yeah,
I mean, that's normal.
But the people who ain't never fought before, they don't know.
Now they know.
Now they
the referees, they come talk to us before the fight, and they explain their whole situation. So that, you know, that to be said.
Right. Or people are they know what's coming, the fighters. So Wilder came in heavier, and for me, when I saw that, I thought, and I think I was right, he would get gassed more quickly, and it seemed like that was partially why. The main reason why he got gassed was that brilliant game plan of Fury just kind of, you know, leaning his weight on him and all that. But when you saw Wilder heavier, did that go through your mind like, oh shit, it's a benefit for us because he might get gassed quicker?
Nah, I don't think that deep. I'm trying to get the knockout. I'm worried about what Tyson can do, not really what Wilder's coming in heavier and being gassed. I train Tyson Fury, so I'm not worried about Tyson Fury's weight. And I say it all the time, in the heavyweight division, you shouldn't be worried about your weight. This is not middleweight, junior middleweight. You don't have a weight limit. So why is everybody so concerned with this perfect weight as a heavyweight? It doesn't make any sense to me, but you know, other people think that, and I'm trying to shed some light on it. This is the heavyweight division. Come in at a weight that you are comfortable to perform at.
That's a good point.
I agree with you.
Well, one thing that, so after the fight, obviously Tyson went over, tried to congratulate Deontay, and he wanted nothing to do with it. For me personally, I feel like Deontay Wilder, like it or not, is a role model to a lot of people, especially up-and-coming fighters. And I feel like that's a terrible message to give. Now, granted, he's also had all these excuses and stuff, so it's not that out of his character. But what did you think of him just wanting nothing to do with any kind of sportsmanship after the fight?
Zero. I didn't think nothing of it.
You didn't give
it does. You know what? And I know how you feel, because I have to take myself out of certain situations and think realistically more of, if I was Deontay Wilder, how would I feel? If you lost the Super Bowl, how would you feel? Everybody don't always want to shake the other person's hands. Everybody has different emotions. They handle their emotions different. And, you know, that's the way he handles himself. And I don't have to like it or not, but I have to respect that in that person, because we're all made up different. Right. If we were all the same, then that's what you would get. You would get robots.
Right.
You know, we're not robots. So he's going through emotions at that time, and that's how it feels. Maybe, you know, over time, you know, he'll think differently. But for right now, the way he feels is the way he feels. And, I mean, you can be mad about it and pass judgment and you know, what I would have done and everything like that. But if you're not in that situation, then it's really hard for you to make judgments on what should be done and how it should be done. And that's not for boxing. That's for anything in life.
That's, you know, that's great. That's a great viewpoint to have, because, you know, leading up to the fight, you know, not Tyson, but you, and I mean, there were people targeting, you know, for all the ridiculous allegations and stuff. So it's great to hear that you know, don't let it get to you. You just do the job and do it well.
No, yeah.
Because, you know, we talked about this last time, and there was something about this fight that sparked the most controversy, which, like, baseless controversy, by the way. That
they're gonna make a movie about this.
They got
the Rocky series. They're gonna make a movie about this. Everything. It was just like it was so epic, like a movie. I mean, I'm hearing that a lot, and I believe it. You know, yeah. I mean, it was a very, very exciting, you know, memorable historical event.
It was. Well, was there anything that Deontay did this fight that surprised you?
Yeah, he kept getting up. I was like, man, he just kept getting up. I'm like, man. So at that point, it's like, I don't know when it's over. I mean, you knocked him down before, he knocked him down, and he keep getting up. I was like, so when he got knocked down the last time, I'm like, damn, he about to get up again. But, you know, the way he went down and everything, I still was like, I need some confirmation, and the referee waving it off is confirmation enough.
Is Fury that big a puncher? Or
I'm gonna say yes. I know people still doubt that and say he's not a puncher. They can say he's not a one-punch knockout artist and all that stuff, but it was one punch that knocked him out, and it was one punch that knocked him down in the 10th round as well. One big punch. So to say he's not a puncher, you know, a puncher, I mean, it's to their opinion. My opinion is yes.
Yeah. No, he's definitely a big puncher. You know, the first round he came out, you know, doing the you know, working the body, which was maybe a little different, but I saw pretty quickly how Tyson just parried, just slapped it away the next round, and it kind of he kind of just abandoned it. It looked like, right, Wilder?
Well,
yeah, that's what happened. That's because I'm not gonna sit and go into all of it, like how I view it, like all of it. You know what I'm saying? So. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot more that goes into it. A lot more that I saw and that went into it. That's more like strategic and you know, just recognizing certain things that maybe nobody else is looking for and looking at. But I'm looking at a lot of different stuff to you know, to give him advice for the next round and to go on in the fight. So it's you know, we don't even have time to talk about that all day. And we was all just sitting in the room kicking, and I could tell y'all all about it. You know.
Can you give us a little taste?
No, because
I just did.
Oh, okay.
A little taste. Like, I got some fries here. Here's a taste.
what does the future look like for Mr. Fury?
Right now, it's just rest. Rest is in the future.
Yeah, I know that's
It's been 20 months. You know, before he fought again, and he wanted. I wanted him to fight again, and it's just right now. Just take some time and get some rest. It's not really thinking about anything right now. I've heard, you know, questions. I've had questions about it, and it's not really fair for me to say it, or I don't have any knowledge about it. That's not my department. I'm a trainer, and I try to stay in my lane. So I'm not trying to predict anything or to to conjure up something to make something happen. Right now, the most likable possibility is, is like people mentioning AJ or Usyk, but they have a rematch clause. Then you mentioned somebody else where you have Dillian White and Otto Wilder. They're fighting, very soon for that WBC heavyweight spot. And really, I don't know if anything can move until those two fights happen.
Right.
So talking about anything else is kind of like just like a fantasy.
Yeah,
so those guys need to clean up the top 5 to see who places, and then the fights can work.
Right. You can't really
do some house spinning, and we over here waiting.
Yeah, exactly. So a lot of people talk about Wilder's power, but I personally, since you took over, Fury's power to me looks fucking insane. You felt Lennox Lewis's power on the pads or whatever. Does Fury live? Is Fury anywhere? Is he close to Lennox Lewis's power? Does Fury now have that power?
I've never felt Lennox's power. I was a little puppy back then, so I didn't get a chance to touch the big heavyweights. I was just there, at times watching and soaking up a lot of that knowledge and things like that. But I mean, I could definitely see Lennox can punch. I mean, I ain't got to feel his punches. I don't even want to feel them.
I did. They're pretty hard.
Because I was looking at Fury's punches, man, and people weren't really talking about it for some reason, but his shots were, I mean, you heard them, you saw them. He had some real shots.
Yeah, he had this fight, was more of a mid-range fight, which is what we worked on a lot. We worked on that mid-range, like bringing him back to him again, but still being powerful, where he throw combinations and things like that. And that's what I saw in the fight. I saw it. I was very pleased with it. And, putting those combinations together is what, set Wilder up for that big shot. It wasn't like he was just throwing one punch and that was it. He can put punches together, and he can hurt you with those punches, and he can also knock you out with that one punch.
Yeah, absolutely. Some people thought that Fury could have got the job done earlier, and he kind of punished him for 2 or 3 rounds. Is there any truth to that, you think?
No, I don't live like that. No way, no how. Finish it. Anything can happen. You don't get in there and play around.
No, well, my sister just asked we're talking about Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder. My sister came in late. Ideally, what that fight went the way you wanted it to go, or it could have ended earlier. But
listen, I don't mean to cut you off, but I'm so excited to tell you, no, that's not how I wanted it to go. I wouldn't mind a first round knockout. The quicker the better for me, because like I said, anything can happen in boxing, especially in the heavyweight division.
Yeah.
I want it quick. I'm not gonna sit here and say, oh, I wanted it to go 7 or I wanted it to go. I want it over as soon as possible. Let's go home. Let's take our shirts off. Let's go celebrate.
You guys with the shirts off all the time. Yeah, no, I mean, absolutely. And, people are saying how it was a momentum swinging fight, but the way I saw it, besides the 4th round, it was kind of a one-sided punishment, in my opinion. I didn't really see that much swinging, except for 1 round.
Well, when Deontay throws one punch, that's a big swing, because anything can happen with that one punch. So it was just that exciting, because if Deontay lands one, everybody's like, ooh, anyway, regardless to whatever's going on, whether it was a lot or not, it was Deontay Wilder punching. Now, had it been me, you, or Jeremy throwing a punch, they'd just be like, yeah, okay. But with Deontay Wilder throwing that punch, everything's a ooh and an ah.
Right.
Well, true.
I ain't mean to take away y'all's punching power. Let me just speak for myself there.
I know what you're trying to say. I get it.
Yeah.
That's the easy part. I don't need to knock nobody out anymore. I'm chilling.
Jeremy does hold the 2nd fastest knockout in pro boxing history at 8 seconds. You know that, Sugar?
I didn't.
But
2nd fastest. He knocked out Arthur Williams. Who was it? Arthur Williams?
Somebody. It was so quick.
Yeah.
It's so quick. It's
Yeah.
so anything.
Hey, so how'd you feel? That felt good though, don't it? I mean, if you get in there, listen, the sooner you get the fight over, the less mistakes you make.
The less bullshit you got to deal with.
Yeah, so it's like get it over, bang. I always say bang and get it over with.
Yeah.
Bang, land that big punch, bang, get it over with.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
We're gonna say
I don't know. I mean, we answered all my questions. I'm good.
yeah, man. Thanks for talking to us. Shit. Once the next one is in the books, we'll talk about it again. We look forward to. I mean, let me say, Fury, the way you have him now, man, is I don't see anybody beating him for a long time. You know what I mean? It's you really did an excellent job. You're taking a guy and using all of his advantages like perfectly.
Well, let me just say something. I picked the round, and I'm just saying.
I wish you would have told me this earlier. So it would be, told me this earlier.
I caught it. I'm busy right now. I'm doing something. Click. I was like, whatever.
How was
I was in a bubble.
You in? Right.
I was in a bubble, a serious bubble, because I wanted this fight to happen with no hiccups, no delays, I just wanted it to happen. Bang and get it over with.
Exactly. Was Tyson gassed out at any point, or was his stamina pretty good?
His stamina's always good. I wouldn't train him to gas out. I mean, I tell you what. So after the fourth round, pretty much the only thing I did was just make him breathe in the corner. I wasn't worried about telling him too many instructions. It was like, okay, just sit here and get your breath together, because it's round 5 coming up. I'm not going to bombard him with so many different tactics and what to do and what you did wrong and all that stuff. For me, that's not really important. I hear other people, other people do things different. And I know, and you guys probably know, if somebody's telling you 7 different things in between a round, how much of it are you going to remember? It's like pick out the 1 or 2 things that's most important, say that, and move on.
So you were just focusing on him breathing and keeping his wind up.
Yeah, I wanted him to get back out there in that 5th round and get back in the game. Like, just do what you was doing again.
Mm-hmm.
Just watch out for that damn right hand.
I know. It's funny because, it's only 1 punch, right? But it still lands. And, I mean, why do you think that is? Do you think it's just the explosiveness of it?
Deontay has a very good technique for his right hand.
What is it?
But, man, maybe the other punches are lacking. It's like when you play a video game. We used to play those games. You get to create your own man and give him power, give him speed, stamina. If you go out there and give him all this power, then what else does he have? You have to try to. We tried to make a well-rounded fighter. I think, what was it? Fight Night, was that the game where you could kind of create your guy and build him up? So I mean, when you tried, you couldn't do that in the video game, so it doesn't really work in real life either.
So I mean, but it's funny because it's that 1 punch people talk about, and that's kind of his only real serious weapon. Yet he hits people with it all the time, and it's hard to avoid. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Well, in boxing, you what did Tyson say? If you're in the water, you're gonna get wet. So in boxing, you're gonna get hit. It's just how you get hit. It's not a sport where you're not gonna get touched. It's just how you get hit. If you're getting hit with clean shots or not. You see guys get hit a lot, but they can roll punches and do things. But when you're getting hit dead on and flush shots, that's not good for anybody. And another thing that I hear, hear around, not just in boxing, because one of the questions people always ask, if I tell them I got a fighter, yeah, he's a good fighter, they say, can he take a punch? Well, I always believe if you're taking a punch means you're getting hit too much. I would rather have a fighter that don't have a chin, but he ain't getting hit, but he's knocking everybody else out. So I would rather have that than somebody who can take a punch. Because the person taking a punch, why do we know he can take a punch?
He's getting hit too much.
Because he can hit too much, way too much.
Well, Tyson, by the way, can take a punch like nobody's business, which is, I know you don't want him getting hit, but that's a fucking great attribute to have, no?
It is. But Tyson also, how much did Tyson really get hit, though? You know what I mean? So he's been hit a few times, but he's been you know, he's been labeled as one of the elusive, you know, most elusive fighters, period. But in boxing, you're going to get hit, period.
Yeah, yeah, no, you are, and he is very elusive.
Make the adjustment not to get hit again like that is the goal.
Absolutely. What would you say is Tyson's hardest? What's his best punch? We all know Wilder's is the straight right. I mean, it looks like Tyson's is probably the straight right, in my opinion, but you would know better than me.
Surprise! How about the jab? You saw the jab, right?
I did.
Yeah. What was I begging for? I was crying and commanding the jab. I felt like at that point, I mean, just looking at me, Tyson's jab is like a right hand. I mean, the way it makes the head goes back and you know, and the body shakes and stuff like that. That's a dangerous punch that's overlooked in boxing a lot, is that jab.
Well,
a lot of guys are out there jabbing, but I mean, a stiff jab is nothing but a softball's left hand.
That's man, stiff jab is the key to all.
And, you know, you had him doing something which was fucking brilliant where right when Wilder would try and come in and cock that right, you had Tyson putting himself at an angle and throwing the stiffest jab and just stopping him in his tracks. And it was beautiful.
Well, thank you. It wouldn't be so beautiful if he didn't do it, so I have to give credit to him too.
No, but it was a great, yeah, of course, but it was a great game plan, and I assume that's something you guys worked on to try and neutralize him from even coming in, right?
Yeah, I'm just not trying to take all the credit like that, because for me to tell somebody what to do, like a lot of other coaches, you can tell somebody what to do, but if they don't do it, it doesn't mean a damn thing. But they have to do it. So for me, it's kind of unfair. It's kind of one-sided, like to just say, oh, it's because of me, I showed them this and I did that. You can show somebody a lot of things and they can go out there, and in the gym they can perform, but in the fight night they can go out there and not perform. You know, just the same as maybe just not even executing. You hear a lot of people say, well, I told him what to do, but he didn't do it. Now there's that but he didn't do it.
Yeah. Right.
You need to know how to make that fighter do it.
Right.
So for me doing what I did in the you know, after the 10th round and talking in the way I talked to him and saying to him what people said I said, you know. So you know, you need to know how to make that fighter do it. And it doesn't always work, but you better have a backup plan. And I just believe in knowing your fighter, having a great relationship with him, to know what makes them tick, know what makes them get up off that seat, know what makes the big dog get off the porch in the late rounds and get it over with.
There you go. Was it your game plan, or was it Tyson's, or a mix of both, to do the two things which I think also helped win? Was first the feinting and then also just leaning his weight on him. Was that your game plan, or kind of both of you?
Hey, that's just a fight, man. Ain't nobody standing up perfect. They was both leaning on each other. But I mean, if you want to throw a certain punch, you need to maneuver in a certain way to make that punch happen. So yeah, I mean, it's a lot of things that's situational boxing, which I don't think is taught a lot. It's just like what I'm seeing now is just a lot of pad work and doing things that's like choreographed or something like that. But to understand it really, it's different situations that happen in boxing that a fighter needs to prepare for in all aspects, just like any other sport. You know, you have football, you have baseball, when the bases are loaded or something, and you get a guy. The situation is, okay, bunt. You know, let's get a bunt, advance the runner. You know, things like that. Football, they got plays for first down, second down, third and long. It's a certain situation that you need to understand what needs to be done in order to execute.
Right, right.
And it's the same with the boxing. I mean, it's certain situations that we prepare and train for and work on for certain situations.
You went mute on us. Right. Right. So no, absolutely. But the feinting was in my opinion a huge key to victory, and then also just using his size on him. You know what I mean? Because that was really, I feel like that really wore him down and really had gave Tyson that edge. Yeah. I mean,
we worked on a lot of things. So what you saw is exactly what we worked on, and there are other things that we worked on that he didn't do, or maybe you guys didn't see. So it's other things that he did that nobody's really seeing, but it's what we work. It's what we worked on.
Well, how different was the preparation for this fight as opposed to the second fight?
It wasn't really that different. It was just me making, me and Tyson working on making Tyson better at what he does. There's always room for improvement. I know everybody heard that in their life before. So it's always room to improve on what you've been doing to make it better.
Right, right.
Just a life period. So I'm like a life teacher too.
No.
And Tyson's a good. I assume he's open. He listens, right? He doesn't strike me as somebody who has an ego and doesn't want to listen.
Total asshole. I have to beat his ass all the time.
Yeah, he looks like that. He's got that personality. I can tell.
Yeah, he says these funny fucking sayings. And I don't know if it's just a British thing or if it's just even in for Brits, it's funny, like shithouse and all these things. They got me dying.
Yeah, he's a funny person along with myself, so we have a great time together, and we vibe and feed off each other. It's most of the time it's for me. I'm professional because I'm not trying to steal his limelight. He's the star, not me. I'm just here to help him, guide him, and to train him to make him better, to continue to be successful.
I saw this thing. It was on YouTube or something, and it was a clip of your uncle, the great Emmanuel Stewart, the late great Emmanuel Stewart, saying the two fighters that are going to, I don't know if you saw this, the two fighters in a few years, this was 7 years ago, that are going to clash and have some of the greatest fights are Wilder and Fury. Did you ever see that?
Yeah, I knew all that before he even did the interview. He talked to me about that already. We talked about that.
Okay. Yeah. He was right on that, man, because that was a great fight. And, I think a lot of people, like myself included, I didn't really want to see the third fight because Tyson kind of beat him so easily the second fight. But I guess now everybody's kind of glad that the third fight happened. At least the fans are. I don't know if you guys
that third fight did so much for boxing. As I stated before, big time boxing is back. The heavyweights run boxing. I mean, no disrespect to nobody else, but the heavyweights run boxing. Boxing started off with heavyweights, and it was that's the granddaddy of the division. Is the heavyweights. They have they have pound for pound and stuff, and me and Tyson talk about that a lot. And pound for pound is just like a fantasy, really. Like it's like nobody can beat the heavyweights. I mean, you can't take a lightweight and say, he's got good skills and put him in. It doesn't happen. So now you have what they call a pound for pound to kind of like, let's say if this guy weighed more. That's a lot of ifs and buts and maybes. But the true fact is, heavyweights run the division. They run the boxing. They run it.
Yep, especially now.
That's the biggest, baddest man on the planet. So how's a little lightweight or a middleweight going to beat him?
That's absolutely true.
Impossible.
Who do you, of the current heavyweights, who do you think, besides Wilder, because that book is closed, who do you think would give Tyson the biggest trouble stylistically of the top guys?
Right now,
not saying.
Right now, I don't see anybody really like with that much of a threat and problem. And I don't overlook anybody either. I can only continue to just make Tyson better, so we don't have to worry about that problem. But a lot of these heavyweights, out there, you never know what's going to happen. You never know what they're learning, and with the heavyweight division, it's still just one punch that can change everything. So the whole game plan on everything is just not to get is to hit and not get hit, which is the sweet science of boxing. SugarHill.
Absolutely, man. What do you think about Usyk? He kind of came out of nowhere in terms of as a heavyweight. What do you think about Usyk?
I think Usyk is a very good boxer. I don't doubt his skills and his IQ one bit at all. For me, he's getting into the heavyweight division. He still has to grow into that division still. Let's say, you just have to it's like another fighter moving up into a different weight division. I mean, you have to get comfortable with that. Your body has to grow and adjust. As we get older, we put on weight anyway. So it's just, growing into that division a lot more and being more comfortable and being more effective. I think Usyk can do a lot of things. I don't write him off at all, period. wouldn't write anybody off. But you know, for me, in my opinion, with Tyson Fury and anybody in the division, it's Tyson Fury hands down.
Yeah, of course. You know, Usyk is a very talented fighter, but I think he's just too small, especially for somebody who's 6'9" and is agile as hell. You know what I mean?
Tyson gives anybody problems with his size and what he can do as far as his athleticism, his coordination, and his power, IQ, and his ring savvy, and his can get into your head, and he can just do so many things that other fighters may only be able to do one or two.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's a huge advantage.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I mean,
listen, his heart, his chin, everything. You have some fighters who will get out there and they could be losing the fight and just be like, fuck it. Like, won't put their foot on the gas, you know, won't just say, you know, dig down and, you know, they won't dig down and do anything about it. And, you know, Tyson's not going to be like that. So those are just things that make up a fighter's characteristics of him, you know, being a person and what he believes in and believing in himself. And, you know, that goes a long way. And that's some of the things that Emmanuel saw and was talking about if everyone really doesn't understand. It's a lot more than just having the skills.
Got to pay bills. You got more than just move around a little bit. I get it.
That's totally true. Were you surprised when Usyk beat Joshua?
I wasn't surprised. And we won't ask too many questions about that because I didn't even watch that fight. 30 seconds, I walked away. I was like, for me, I was just like, this is some bullshit. And I got on the barbecue grill and had me a good time.
Why
I
was
walked
it?
away at 1 minute because I just saw the way both guys came out. To me, it was kind of like they both came out kind of flat. And I was just like, oh, it's going to be one of these fights. Like, you know, it wasn't like the fight that we just had here. You know, so for me, it just wasn't that interesting for me personally.
Oh, so you didn't even watch it?
Did not watch it at all.
My phone is about to die.
And I don't watch I don't watch boxing a lot like that anyway. But I started off watching it. I sat myself down, and I just couldn't bear it anymore.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it was, you know, I'm sure you heard about it. He basically just outboxed him, and Joshua didn't know really what to do with him. You know what I mean? He was kind of like, you know, I think Lomachenko's father trains Usyk, if I'm not mistaken, and he looked a lot like a, you know, cruiserweight / heavyweight Lomachenko in there. You know, the angles and everything, and Joshua just didn't know what to do with it. You know what I mean? So, yeah. So I mean, I guess Usyk's there, and then I mean, the only other heavyweight left that I guess in top contention now would be Andy Ruiz, right?
That's fair, yeah.
But you know, I think it's a question of size and skill, and I think, like you said, like we all said, Tyson's just too big and too skilled for any of these guys. You know, I heard people after this fight putting Tyson already in greatest pound for pound heavyweight ever categories. I don't know.
It's something to talk about. It's something to talk about, but it's not over yet. So, you know, we just have to wait our time and you know, and keep watching the excitement, keep watching these knockouts happen.
Do you train? Who else do you train of that we would know?
Me. I train Anthony Durrell.
Oh, we just talked to him recently.
I train Anthony Durrell. I train a fighter named Vladimir Shishkin, who's a super middleweight, who's coming up. Not sure if you know him. Nico Ali Walsh. Muhammad Ali. Yeah, training him, and I'm really excited about training him because it's like an amateur fighter, and I like working with the amateurs. So he's like a beginner, and I get to you know, kind of like mold him and teach him and raise him, and that for me that's it's just as exciting as training Tyson Fury because they want to learn and they're hungry, and it makes me feel good to be able to teach somebody something and for them to be able to use what I've taught them and have success and to watch them be happy. You know, for me, that moves me a lot. You know, even if they don't become a boxing champion, but it's just something that I taught them that will help them in their life, you know, and raise their kids and probably pass on for generations. So just trying to, I just feel good about that, me personally.
No, that's great, and you know that must be huge shoes for him to fill, being who his grandfather is, Muhammad Ali. But from what I've seen in Nico, he has some good natural ability.
Yeah, I'm happy
Right.
with it, and I agree. And like I said, it's just a learning process for him. It's not trying to move too fast. There's nothing to move fast for. He just turned 21. There's no rush at all.
Wow.
No rush at all, for sure.
I don't know if
No rush at all.
I don't know if you heard. I don't know if you heard, Sugar, but Jeremy's fighting James Toney in an exhibition this month. Did you hear about that?
I was gonna say something to him, but to myself, I ain't getting no knockouts no more. And I was gonna say, don't you got a fight coming up?
I don't. What James and I want to do, we want to fight hard, we want to fight smart, and we want to give a good show. You know, it's not like he's my best friend and we're doing, you know, some buddy shit. I don't like him, he don't like me, but at the end of the day, we're there to, not going for titles, we're not doing anything. So I'm gonna put a good show like that. What happened with Andrew Holyfield, I do not want to see happen.
I don't want to see it happen.
I want people their money's worth, so I'm gonna go out and fight my hardest ish.
Listen, we can only do what we can do. So yeah, I mean we're a lot older and a lot wiser now. So yeah, I understand exactly what you're saying.
I'm excited about the fight. Me and Paulie Malignaggi are going to be commentating it. It's going to be on ESPN Knockout, so we're excited about that. You know, it's good. You know, I think Jeremy and James can have a good exhibition, and it could be exciting. But there's going to be no Holyfield, Belfort, whatever the fuck his name was, kind of nothing like that.
Nothing like that.
Because that's bad for the sport.
That's bad. It's a bad look on us.
Oh.
Anyway.
Yeah. Well. We're trying to forget about that with the Tyson Fury Deontay Wilder third fight. So
yeah, you guys right that way. That was pretty good. So
yeah,
I'm out. You guys have a great night. My phone's about to die. Anyways.
Yeah.
All right,
yeah, Sugar.
Marco. Sugar, hey, appreciate you, man. We'll get you
okay.
on.
I appreciate coming on the show again too. I know we were supposed to talk before, but I was in a bubble and I was focused and locked in, and yeah, I like to do my job. That's more important. So.
And congratulations to you, man. We great fight, and we'll talk again soon. Thanks for giving us the time.
All right, thank you.
Right, thank you.